A lot of people think that etiquette is restricting, right? Which is what it maybe was years ago. And they think, oh, etiquette is one big no. Like, you can't do this, you can't say that. Etiquette it's one big enabler. It lets you speak to the person you want to speak to. It lets you form the relationships you want to form. It lets you set boundaries and say no to the things you don't want to do. But it's all about how you do it, the delivery and the style. That can really help you achieve anything in life.
It's Sofia Franklin. You are listening to Sofia with an F, and the F is for phenomenal. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sofia with an F. I have been so excited to have this guest on. She is the star of the new Netflix series Mind Your Manners and a world-renowned etiquette expert, Sara Jane Ho. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Sofia.
Yes. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube, you absolutely should. We are both wearing our sweaters, cardigans draped over our shoulders, which is very chic. Right?
Very, very. But somehow we flipped our wardrobe.
Let's explain that a little bit because that was kind of crazy. That was the Twilight Zone. So I walked into the studio not late, by the way. I have to ask the follow-up question. How bad is it to show up late to something?
I always say etiquette is contextual. It really depends. So if you're going to a party of 50 people or a cocktail, if you show up 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're meeting a friend one-on-one and they're waiting for you at a restaurant and if you show up more than 5 minutes late, then you should text them and let them know.
Okay. But you shouldn't be punished for it.
The last time somebody showed up late for me, they were actually 40 minutes late because they forgot about the appointment. And she had reached out to me for a favor.
Mm-mm.
So, and then I actually bumped into another person at the restaurant. So I was chatting with them. And when she arrived, I said, don't worry at all. I was like, I have 10 minutes left.
Oh.
Right? I was like, don't worry. Let's sit. Don't worry at all. Take your time. I have 10 minutes.
Take your time. I have 10 minutes.
So basically, the subtext is talk fast.
Yes.
Right.
That's genius. I think that's a great way to go about it. I'm shocked someone would show up 40 minutes late with you, the etiquette world-renowned expert. I was like, I need to be there. I almost got here 30 minutes early just because I was so terrified. But Sara Jane, you showed up. You're wearing Sambas.
I am.
Leather pant. And I show up wearing a very
tweed and
rose.
Really girly. I mean, super cute. I wish I got dressed up now today.
Well, I wish I did the opposite. So we're both kind of trying. We both
have really good etiquette. We both have really good etiquette.
We were trying to match what we thought the other person would be wearing, and we did a little flip.
Yep.
And I have the headband.
So cute.
Very Blair Waldorf.
Very, very.
So what was your upbringing like? Because your dad is a super successful businessman, mom in the music industry. I'm getting very Gossip Girl meets Crazy Rich Asians vibe.
I grew up, we were comfortable. I think that the most important thing that my parents gave me in terms of my upbringing was to speak to anybody and everybody, whether it's an 8-year-old or an 80-year-old. I grew up around the world as well. So whether it's, an American, a Papua New Guinean, or Chinese person, and that from every single person, you can learn something.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just how I see interacting with new people and making new friends. My mom always said one line. She said, live like a local. And anytime I had any kind of question or, was trying to make a decision, she would say, live like a local. And I really grew up with that. And in my book, I talk about how I see myself as a microcultural anthropologist. And anthropology is a study of human behavior. So every time I meet a new person or go into a new group, and part of why I wore leather jeans and Sambas to meet you today was because, I thought, okay, I'm in observation mode and I'm studying the codes of conduct. How are people dressed? How are they speaking? What is the slang they're using? And then adapting myself so that they feel comfortable around me, which makes me feel comfortable around them. And belonging is what makes us human, right? That sense of belonging.
Right. What did you call it? It was something anthropologist.
Yeah, a microcultural anthropologist.
I feel like I'm a microcultural anthropologist because I came here trying to match your energy. I'm going to add that to my resume.
Totally. You should. We should all be microcultural anthropologists.
But a lot of people are not.
That's very true. And I think it's because they haven't thought about it. They haven't opened up their mind, or that they don't have that self-awareness, which is why it's so important to have diverse friends, to go and travel, right? See different things.
Yes, absolutely. What place has the most interesting etiquette that you come across? Like cultural etiquette?
Well, I grew up in Hong Kong, which is a city that used to be governed by the Brits, and in 1997 was handed back over to mainland China. And so Hong Kong is a very westernized Chinese city. And when I moved to Beijing in 2012, after I graduated from Harvard Business School and opened my etiquette school, I really had to learn a completely new way of navigating, socially wise, all sorts of things. And China, I've loved localizing there. Even things like at a formal dinner in China, before the second course is even served, even if it's a 10, 12 person dinner, people are already standing up, walking around to other people and toasting them and drinking 53% alcohol in shots.
Okay.
It's called Maotai.
I love that.
You got to come. I got to show you, the Maotai life.
Hong Kong. I'm going there for my birthday. No, you and I are going there for my birthday.
Yeah. So actually Beijing. Beijing.
Beijing. Yeah. Oh my God. My apologies. You were born in Hong Kong.
Yes. Well, no, technically I was born in the States.
Okay.
My parents were living in Papua New Guinea. It's in between Indonesia and Australia. And my dad.
I was going to guess wrong, so thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people think Africa, but that's New Guinea. This is Papua New Guinea. And my dad was doing all exploration. Papua New Guinea is a very developing country. So they flew to the States and gave birth to me and then flew right back after 3 weeks.
So they just did the plane just so you'd be a U.S. citizen or what?
I guess so. We'll have to ask my parents about that one.
That is some rich, not that you were a rich kid by any means, but I'm just saying you being able to pick, like, where do I want my kid to have their citizenship? Let's fly there right now is incredible. I love that. I'm sure it didn't go down that way. So you also went to Swiss boarding school.
Well, actually, I went to boarding school in the States. I went to Phillips Exeter Academy.
Where is that?
That is in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Close to Boston. I was actually a year behind Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh.
Who founded Facebook. And actually, the name Facebook came from our photo address book. So we had a school directory with every student's photo, home address, and email. There were no cell phones back in that day. And it was called the photo address book, but everybody called it the Facebook. So he'd say, oh, look him up in the Facebook. Look up her extension in the Facebook. And I guess he borrowed that name and made it Facebook.
Borrowed. Borrowed is a very nice way to put it. Did you speak with Mark a lot?
Well, he was a different grade, and it's a pretty big school. There are 1,000 kids. But I do remember that a friend of mine took some coding class with him, and where the whole semester depended on one grade, where you had to build some sort of code. And my friend was saying, oh, there's this guy, Mark, who he did it in a week and just didn't show up to class anymore for the next 7 weeks because he completed this.
Yeah. It's always the Ivy League dropouts that are like the really, really scary smart people. But I also think he's a shapeshifter. A little bit. A little bit of that lizard kind of shape. Like he has a reptilian brain. That's when I think about Mark. That was probably not great etiquette. So you went to boarding school in the States.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories or experiences aside from that stand out to you from that time?
Yeah. Well, it was funny because it was a real culture shock for me. I went over from Hong Kong. I spent most of my childhood in Hong Kong where, cool girls at the age of 13 had piercings in their ears, belly rings, and we wore these really flared Jinko jeans and tiny little Roxy crop tops. And I mean, looking back, I can't believe my parents let me wear that. I mean, it's just shocking.
Yes.
But, international school girls, we all wore that. And when I went over to New England, which was really preppy, I looked and felt really out of place. I had 4 piercings down my ear. I had a belly ring. And within 10 days, I took the Exeter bus to the closest shopping mall and changed my whole wardrobe to Abercrombie & Fitch, and all the other sort of preppy brands.
Right.
And then I felt much more comfortable, much more at home.
Yes. I'm sure that was an extremely hard transition for you, though.
It was, because it was so far away from home. And then my mom actually got diagnosed with breast cancer, even though she survived that one. So it was really tough, and it was really academic. It was it was very competitive school.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg was there. So how much would you spend studying versus partying?
Well, I was 14.
Me at my first rager at 15. I'm like, so when did you start going crazy, wild?
Well, all right. So at Exeter, I mean, it's like 95% study. They work you so hard. There's really not much time for anything else. And then I went to Georgetown for my undergrad, which I absolutely loved.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still a very serious student. And then I worked for 3 years and then went to Harvard Business School. And I would say and Harvard Business School was one big party. I mean, like, I almost failed out, actually.
Really?
If I didn't rewrite an essay, I would have failed out of Harvard Business School because I didn't care about my grades and I was partying every night. Now, when I really started partying was probably when I was actually 16, 17. In Hong Kong, I'd go back to Hong Kong for the summers. All my friends who'd come back from their boarding schools around the world, there's this place called Lan Kwai Fong in Hong Kong, which consists of like maybe 5 little streets on a hill in the central business district, and it's just bar after bar after bar.
Bar hopping.
But also major clubbing, partying till 6 a.m. I'm a Sagittarius. I love clubbing. Like, I need you to take me clubbing, New York.
I absolutely will. Have you been to the Box?
I went in 2007 when it first opened, and I need to go back. I want to go back.
Okay. I was about to say that's really terrifying etiquette up on the stage there, but fascinating. So you went there in when was it?
I went to the Box in 2007. It's insane that you just mentioned it, because just last night I took a young Chinese girl out to dinner, and I'm friends with her parents, and her parents are coming to visit. And she's like, where do you think I should take my dad and mom? And I said, the Box. No, I'm serious. I just said this last night to her over dinner. I said, your dad loves to go clubbing. I go clubbing with him all the time in China. And he would love to show him something he can't see in China. That's the Box.
I don't think he's going to enjoy that one, to be honest with you.
I think you're underestimating old men. You're underestimating old Chinese men.
True. So I went there a few weeks ago with one of my guy friends. I mean, I don't want to ruin it for you, but there is one scene, you could call it, where he basically got slapped in the face with a private part.
Who's he? Your friend?
My guy friend.
Your guy friend?
Yes.
Is he on part of the show?
No. So someone that is part of the show got naked, then came running around and kind of used his penis as a sword and slapped my friend in the face, and he got upset. He didn't like that.
Well, I mean, what do you expect? You're going to the Box,
that's what I'm saying. Wear a raincoat and sit in the middle seat. Like, what are we here doing? But I think we should go to the Box.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. And then we'll go to the
I'm
stranger.
holding you to it. Woo! I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to relive my 20s.
Yes.
With Sofia with an F.
Me too. We're both going to do it. Okay, so this is a really interesting question. Do you think there are any unhealthy levels of etiquette and elegance that are taught, especially to young girls?
I think there used to be. Because so I went to Swiss finishing school after Harvard Business School. And I went because I grew up, I love hosting, I love entertaining. And also I knew I wanted to go to Beijing and open an etiquette school. So I was like, well, then I probably should go to, the OGs of finishing schools. And that's why I went to Switzerland.
What is a finishing school?
Now, a finishing school is where a young woman used to go and finish her education, because women, even up until 50 years ago, they could not go to college. And so women of good backgrounds would be maybe homeschooled. And then they would be sent to finishing school where they'd learn how to sew, how to make a bed, how to iron a man's shirt, how to throw a dinner party, how to do table seating, how to know precedence, like where do you sit which host, how to do greetings and introductions, how to understand dress codes. And I mean, that was a woman's education up until, 50 years ago.
Right.
So I think that back in that day, of course, we all say, we look back and we say, gosh, like that's so limiting and so restricting for women in their lives. But actually, I feel that today, I feel that women are very empowered. I mean, this next decade or next century is going to be the decade of feminism and female empowerment.
Absolutely. Au revoir, sleuths. Get your passports out because we are about to have a summer that only a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie can rival. But before we hit the jetway, we're learning a new language because how else are we going to flirt for free drinks internationally? How am I going to get a spritz? I can only bat my eyelashes so much. Thank God for Rosetta Stone, the most trusted language learning program so that you can really speak the language for flirting or otherwise. I'm going to be including Rosetta Stone in my daily routine so that by the time my summer travels come around, I'll be just fluent enough to get what I want in any country. Rosetta Stone is the trusted language expert for over 30 years with millions of users and 25 languages offered. It immerses you in every way possible and is specially designed for long-term retention. I plan to marry a guy from Europe, so thank God. And it's so easy. Available from your desktop or phone, Rosetta Stone will never be too far away. Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a very limited time, Sofia with an F listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/Sofia. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/Sofia today. I agree to some extent. I've also seen this wave of, because of how far we've come, now there's like a little bit of a pushback. But I mean,
that's true with all the recent rulings on abortion, and it's almost like I feel it's a control of women, right?
Yes,
trying to control women.
It's always a control of women type thing. But also on social media, I've kind of seen like this change in how people are talking to one another. Men feel safer than ever to say rude things about women, I would say.
Wow, even in America? They're not worried about being canceled?
No. I mean, these are also people who wouldn't necessarily get canceled. That was a nice way of me saying
yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Large following.
Okay.
But what's your biggest cringe when it comes to etiquette?
Oh, my biggest cringe is when people clip their nails in public. It is just so awful. I was flying domestically in China the other day, and this man who was across the aisle from me was clipping his nails. And I was looking over, I was trying to make eye contact so he could see me staring him down. But he was so engrossed in clipping his nails, he didn't even, and I was like, oh.
That's alarming.
It's terrible. But you'd be surprised how often it happens.
The nails, clipping the nails.
In public.
Toenails or fingernails?
It was fingernails, but it's just as bad. The sound, bleh.
That is repulsive.
It is totally.
Okay, since we're talking about this, what is the etiquette if you are sitting in the middle seat and you want to eat a tuna fish sandwich? Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend, by the way.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Just don't?
Just don't.
Okay. What if we're talking like a 6-hour, like New York to Los Angeles flight?
And that's a decently long flight. That tuna fish will hang in the air.
That amazing point.
Mm-hmm.
Get a ham and cheese sandwich.
Yes. Or a boiled egg.
Or a boiled egg. Yes. Tuna, like you can't be doing that. Okay. So no tuna fish. Got it. What are the greater life benefits of good etiquette?
A lot of people think that etiquette is restricting, right? Which is what it maybe was years ago. And they think, oh, etiquette is one big no. Like you can't do this, you can't say that. And some people will come to me and say, you know, I have really bad etiquette. I'm too honest to have good etiquette. And to me, it's like you don't understand the actual meaning of etiquette because etiquette it's one big enabler. It's one big do. It lets you speak to the person you want to speak to. It lets you form the relationships you want to form. It lets you set boundaries and say no to the things you don't want to do. But it's all about how you do it, the delivery and the style. And that can really help you achieve anything in life.
So explain that a little further. So etiquette can help you approach all of those things. Like, where's the tie?
Yeah.
Where's the connection?
Yeah. So the connection is really about social fluency. It's about knowing what to do in any situation with any one person. And if you, let's say it's for your career, right? And you're at some networking session or you're trying to find your job hunting and you see somebody from a company that you really want to work for, right? So knowing how to approach that person, knowing how to, not totally overwhelm them, but knowing how to sort of do the push and pull and sell yourself, right? But at the same time, not like overdoing it in a cringe way. All these things are etiquette.
How do you overdo it in a cringe way? I need to know.
Well, I used to go to these conferences when I was a student, and especially at Harvard Business School, there were so many conferences. And there was always that one kid who was handing out his business cards to everybody, just like shoving them in everybody's face.
Yeah.
And I would I'd be in pain for him.
Yeah. And I want to know what the business card said. Because was he just a student at the time?
Yeah, but you have your own cards. You have your own Harvard Business School cards, your personal cards with your name and your email and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, got it. And then it says Harvard.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make fake ones of those, I think, and hand those out.
I'll give you my old one. You can design it off of that.
Thank you so much. Well, but do people use those anymore?
Well, you only use them when you're a student.
Okay, because you need to hand them out to as many people as possible. Exactly. I would just airdrop my phone number and my business card to everyone, I think. Have you noticed any major etiquette trends or shifts in recent years?
Yeah, post-COVID, major shifts. I would say that now when you meet people, it's like, should we be shaking hands? Maybe your hand has a lot of germs. I don't know what I want to be catching from you, right? All these things. Wearing masks is now much more normal. Even in America, when I go on planes, and I'll wear a mask on long haul flights because I don't want to get sick.
Yes.
But I see quite a number of people, not just Asians wearing masks anymore. White people are wearing masks too.
Yes.
And I think that after COVID, a lot of us are a bit rusty on our social skills. We got too used to staying home in our PJs, and then you see the rise of of cyber world, right? And all of a sudden people feel like they have no accountability anymore. They can say whatever they want or show their worst selves online, whether it's cyberbullying or this and that, because they're anonymous. We're hiding behind a screen.
Yes. I think social media allowing that has been detrimental
totally
to the world, but it's also brought so many amazing things.
It has, but there are pros and cons. But I'm worried about the next generation because as digital has risen, you also see social, like mental health crises rising as well.
It goes hand in hand. If I have kids, they're not going to have phones.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up.
Not until they're 18.
No, even then.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, borrow your friend's phone. You know my phone number. I wrote it on a Post-it note. If you had to make a new etiquette rule for the world, what would it be?
Ooh, it would be smile upon eye contact.
Smile upon eye contact.
Yeah. People underestimate how powerful a smile is. It can really lift up someone's day. It can make them think that you're interested and that you like them, not sexually necessarily, but that you're just, you like them as a person, which makes them like you, right? Because it's reciprocal. If you think somebody likes you, you'll just automatically like them.
Yeah.
And it's completely free. And
you smile to me quite a bit.
Well, yeah, because
there's sexual tension.
There is sexual tension, and you make me laugh so hard. Yeah. It's like I can't help it.
Thank you. Sexual tension, and I'm the funniest person you've ever met.
Totally. And so I say, if you meet anybody in your community, whether it's in your workplace, maybe you're walking in the corridor and you pass by a colleague from a different department, or it's in your building and you're in the lift with a neighbor, right? Or in the coffee shop you regularly go to. As long as eye contact is made, smile.
So I have mixed feelings about eye contact. I think eye contact is weird. I think like here and there it's necessary, but I've read so many articles and there have been so many studies done that if you don't make eye contact, that means you feel insecure, low self-esteem, not confident in what you're saying. I don't agree with that. Do you agree with that?
It depends on who too. So for example, if I'm on the subway in Paris, I'm not going to make eye contact. I'm not going to smile.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's just you're being creepy and
Yes.
other people will think, there'll be miscommunication.
Right.
But that's why I say within your community,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to do it, right? At school, at work.
But are you holding the eye contact the whole time?
No, usually it's eye contact, smile as a reflex, and then you can look away.
Okay, I feel like when I talk, I kind of look around town.
Yours is you're a well-adjusted human being. I can tell from your eye contact.
Thank you. I also have Lumify eye drops in that make my eyes look brighter.
Oh, I need to get those.
Yes. I think I have some. You can try them.
Okay, amazing.
Before we go to the box.
Yeah, totally.
So we'll look awake until 4 a.m. We'll look great. I want to move on to dating and etiquette.
Which is a whole chapter in my book. People love that.
Yes. Let's talk about a man's etiquette first. What is one etiquette rule from a man saying it's a heteronormative date? What is one thing he would do that would be a deal breaker?
By the way, heteronormative, I just added a new word to my vocab.
I just added 15. So right back at you.
Let's see. What is a deal breaker on a date? Okay, so
etiquette-wise.
Etiquette-wise. So the most common deal breaker for a date is somebody being on their phone. And research and statistics have shown this. So when somebody's always playing on their phone while especially if it's an early date. I mean, if you're married or if you've been dating for ages, okay. But in the beginning, you're supposed to be presenting your best self and getting to know the other person. So that is the biggest turnoff.
What if you don't check the phone, but you set it on the table?
Now, is it set with the screen up or the screen down?
Screen down.
Screen down is better than screen up because screen up, if you have notifications, it's very distracting. I say etiquette is also very contextual. In China, everybody has their phone on the table. And in fact, in China, two friends will be having lunch. My phone will ring, like super loud ringtone. I will answer and be like, "喂, 什么？你说什么呀?" And it would not be offensive.
Yes.
But in Europe or in New York even, that would be really rude if it's just two of us friends. And even for my ringtone to ring, it should be on vibrate or silent, or I should tell you in advance, like, oh, I'm expecting a really important call from a client. Right? So it's really contextual. It's about who you're with, what are the norms in that community.
Yeah. I feel like even on a first date, placing the phone face down.
Yeah, first date, you shouldn't even have your phone out.
Thank you. I totally agree with that. I need to ask you this question because this has been a debate since I've been podcasting. Do you think the man needs to pick up the check?
Ooh.
Etiquette-wise.
So many people ask me this question.
They do?
I love it.
Oh, and I was over here thinking I was being unique. She's never been asked this.
It depends, again, also on culture. Right. So Latin America, right? Your mother's from Buenos Aires. I mean, or in the Middle East or in Asia, in China as well. A man would never let a woman pay on a date. Actually, even platonic male friends would not let a female platonic friend pay for a meal. Whereas, let's say Nordic countries or Germany, some parts of Europe, and a lot of the States as well, splitting the check is what is the norm, and it's seen as entitled if you expect the man to pay. So this also goes back to that. I mean, I have girlfriends who say, oh, I was so offended that he tried to pay, and gosh, like what an insult. Is he saying that I'm not an independent woman? I don't know. I think we can be a little bit more relaxed about it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I like to offer. So I'll make the gesture, I'll pull out my wallet. And then it's up to him if he lets me split the check or not. But maybe because of where I grew up, which was Asia, I'm very comfortable with letting men pay for a meal. And I don't feel that it's like an offense to my independent woman.
I'm extremely okay with them picking up the bill. In fact, I don't even pretend to pull my wallet out. I just stare at them blinking, waiting to see. And if a man did ask for me to split the bill, I would say, you know what? I've got this one.
Yes.
I would pay for the whole thing and then try to emasculate the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
That's probably not very 2024 with the times, but...
You know what? I've totally done that too. I've totally done that too. Where I'm like, and actually, if I want to signal that I'm disinterested in a guy on a date and that I really don't like him, I'm like, I got this.
Oh, is that kind of your way
to show that I'm not that I would never, ever consider him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So...
I guess it goes back to the emasculate him. Yes. Kind of thing. Yeah.
Sometimes they need that.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just to make them stronger at the end of the day.
Yep.
They have to fall down to stand up.
Yes, indeed.
I just made up that quote. I don't think that's a real thing. What is the proper breakup etiquette?
You know what? I did a New York Times style profile right after my Netflix show, Mind Your Manners, came out. And the title was Etiquette Guru Who Broke Up with Her Boyfriend Over Text. But you know what? His ex-wife divorced him by email and CC'd his mother. So,
who's
some people
gonna put someone on CC on your breakup email?
Yeah,
I don't care who it is.
He was playing tennis, and his mother called him and said, "Do you know your wife wants to divorce you? Check your email." So I think he had it soft for me over text, but we were on again, off again. So I think that, of course, especially for serious relationships, it deserves face to face. But there's some instances like if you're trying to break up with a guy and the guy is not taking it well, or he refuses to break up with you, or he just keeps on going into arguments with you, then or if, let's say, in some cases, if the person's abusive, right, and it's for your safety that you should do it from a distance, I fully support that.
Yes. And I also think block.
Yeah, I'm all about delete, block on all channels.
Oh, so you're just disappearing. That's called just ghosting, Casper the Friendly Ghost.
No, but of course that comes after a breakup. And actually there have been times where I said, okay, we moved on, and so there's no need to communicate anymore, and FYI, I'm deleting you from my WeChat, which is what we use in China.
I was like, WeChat, I need to get on there. I think that's really the best way to do it. Mm-hmm. And I need to unfollow you on social media and
Yes.
So let's go to the girlies for a second. Mm-hmm. You said that there's no ugly woman in the world, just lazy ones. Mm-hmm. Can we please dive into this?
Yeah, I think that living your best life, being your best self, it takes discipline. It takes consistency and discipline. So, right, you stay in shape, you exercise, or you watch what you eat, right? I mean, there's no magic bullet unless you go to Ozempic. And in terms of grooming, so beauty and grooming, making sure, I mean, I have girlfriends who religiously get their nails done, right? You make sure that your hair is presentable, all these things. So I think that there are so many women in the world who would really benefit from just taking care of themselves. And it's really not for other people. It's for yourself.
Yes.
I think that's the most important thing.
It's a form of self-care.
And self-love.
Yes. Which women, I think we tend to put everyone or everything before ourselves, right?
Right. So, but then you're not strong enough to support people around you.
Yes.
So you have to put yourself first.
Yes. So let's say a woman and a man go on a date and they hit it off, and they're feeling a little bit of sexual tension like you and I are right now. What is the proper etiquette for that night? Can you have a kiss? Can you go further than a kiss?
So it depends what you're looking for. I mean, flings are fun. One-night stands can be fun. If that's what you're vibing, go for it. And I do have friends who've married their one-night stand.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I feel that the longer you wait to have sex, the better it is.
Very true.
And after you have sex, especially for women, you're not thinking clearly anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be evaluating this person, right? If you're looking for a long-term partner,
Yes.
you want to have time to evaluate this person with a clear head.
Right.
And that really happens before sex.
Yes. I don't think I've ever, and this might be poor etiquette to speak this bluntly, I don't think I've ever reached climax on a hookup on a first date.
Never.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's really good to point out. Is there post-sex etiquette?
Well,
Do
depends.
you need to hand her underwear back?
Well, I would always say that as a girl, I mean, you definitely want to shower.
Shower
right?
after?
You want to shower after.
Oh.
You want to pee or shower after, right? You want to avoid that UTI.
Sure. Okay.
And in terms of etiquette, if you want to, I think it's kind of nice to stay in bed and chat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I have plenty of friends who say, I just want to get the heck out of there or get him out of there, in which you can say your mother's coming around in the morning and he'll be out of there in a jiffy.
That's a great one. That used to be me. I've had friends who would pretend to leave the house and then go park somewhere just waiting for the girl or the guy to leave. And like it never happened. So then they had to come back home from the gym and come up with a new excuse, which I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Unless I think this guy likes me for more than sex.
Right.
That sounded extremely depressing. I have dated men who really cared about me, by the way, on the record. Do you own a pair of sweatpants?
Of course. I have so many.
Okay, great. Would you leave the house in a pair of sweatpants?
I have.
You have.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Uggs?
Never could bring myself to buy a pair of Uggs. I know they're all the fashion these days.
The platform Ugg.
Yeah, and especially after Barbie wore them in the movie, Margot Robbie.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh, sorry, those are Birkenstocks. My bad.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Birkenstocks.
I just lumped them together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't do a Birkenstock.
I couldn't do either.
I could do the Ugg.
The Ugg boot? I mean, a lot of people do them.
But my brother is always like, why are you wearing like moon shoes?
Yeah, they are. That's so funny.
They kind of are like moon shoes.
Totally moon shoes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. This one I'm asking for me because I have struggled with this. My mom and I argue about it all the time. Is it okay to set your purse on the floor?
I thought you were going to ask, is it okay to set your purse on the table? Because I love talking about this topic and not many people ask me about this.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Okay, so go back to your question. On the floor, it really depends on you. I mean, usually if it's big and it's a big tote and the floor looks kind of clean because it's a really upscale restaurant, that's okay. You can maybe ask for a bag chair, right? Which sometimes they have. And then, so it's like those little stools that are just for your bag at more posh places.
Yes.
Or just put it on a chair. One universal rule is never put a bag on the table. Because you know what? The bottom of bags are pretty dirty. And then you put the bag on the table, and the table is where you're eating. You're touching that with your hands, and it's just totally gross. And it's something my finishing school headmistress was like, if there was one thing she really cared about, it was don't put your bag on the table. And that really got drilled into me. And it includes clutches.
Okay.
So even if you're at a black tie, your purse should not go on the table. It should go behind you, the small of your back, or put on your lap and then put your napkin over that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one right there. I always thought setting the purse on the table was obnoxious because you're usually going to do that if you're carrying a Chanel or a Birkin and you kind of just slap it down on the table in front of the
Very
person.
true.
You know?
Yes.
So I don't like that.
Neither do I.
But I also feel bad every time I set a nice purse on the ground. But then I also wouldn't be caught dead at a busy restaurant asking my server, can you please bring over a chair for my Louis Vuitton? You know?
Yes.
Like that is that. I don't want to be caught dead doing that either.
And you know what? Some of the best Birkins are the ones that are really worn. That are scratched, worn, right? That's sometimes the best style.
I mean, that screams rich. Because you're just
It
out
does.
here, you're just dragging
it around.
You don't care. Interesting. So I'm gonna start carrying a purse hook with me.
Love purse hooks.
Yes. Okay. During this interview, which is not over, but so far, what have I done that has been poor etiquette? Because I know I do this a lot. I play with my hair a lot for some reason.
But not to the extent where I noticed it. It's only because you talked about it, you brought it up, that I'm like, oh, yeah, you do maybe.
And now every comment on this YouTube is going to just be about me touching my hair.
I really can't think of anything. Yeah, you're
I'm killing
A++,
it.
A++. You're killing it. You're killing it.
Thank you. I knew I had manners and great etiquette. So is there anything else that you want to talk about that's in your book, on the show, anything like that?
Well, the book is really for anybody who wants to achieve social fluency. It's structured across 5 different chapters. So there's love and relationships, social, work, family, and then there's food and travel. And it's got really concrete advice. So it's very practical. It's very meaty, a lot of anecdotes, a lot of case studies from my last 12 years of teaching etiquette. And I really hope that people will find it helpful in all aspects of their life.
The social influence part gave me such Robert Greene vibes, who's my
love him
idol.
Yes.
And I think that's such an intelligent way to talk about etiquette. I think people have this idea about it that it's the salad fork is over here, which that's just a small,
tiny,
yes,
microscopic part of etiquette.
You're going to teach me a crash course, by the way. And we might try, you're going to teach me some proper etiquette things.
I am.
By the way.
I hope you do well.
And we can't do this at the box. We're going to be preoccupied. That's not the place to practice. And then your show, Mind Your Manners on Netflix. Incredible, by the way.
Thank you.
Incredible. And I learned so much.
A lot of friends who watched it and told me they tell me that it was really fun to watch and that they learned something. And to me, you learn the best when you're having fun. And so I'm just incredibly grateful to Netflix for that opportunity to bring what I do, which was originally just in China. And, China's like this black box. But bringing it to the rest of the world and seeing how I'm trying to redefine etiquette. It's really the utmost form of wellness.
Yes.
So to promote your own individual healthy growth.
And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And in the show, I had a lot of Eastern concepts, so as part of my makeovers for my students, I would take them to traditional Chinese medicine. I would feng shui their house. And I didn't anticipate that a lot of my global audience really leaned into that, especially traditional Chinese medicine, which is why these 2 months I just launched my intimate wellness brand, Antivorta, that is formulated with traditional Chinese medicine.
Let's talk about Antivorta because I think it's something right up my alley. And I think when we were talking about post-sex, well, I guess pre-sex etiquette, you would want to use one of these vaginal wipes.
Yeah. So I'm going to open this up.
You want me to try it?
Yeah. Okay,
we'll blur it out.
So there are 21 wipes in here.
Okay.
You can open one up and I like to use wipes. I always have a couple in my bag, especially if I'm traveling. So when I'm on a plane or when I go to the gym, my gym bag. Let's say I have yoga and then I'm going to go meet some girlfriends, but I don't have time to shower, right? Then I'm using my intimate wipe. It's also great for before and after intimate moments. I have a
Mm-hmm.
couple on my bedside table. It's completely clean in terms of formula. You can smell it.
Okay.
How do you like the smell?
What is that? Because it smells good.
It's bitter orange. It's a natural herb. And so many intimate wipes on the market smell of laundry detergent. Your vagina is not supposed to smell like laundry detergent.
I think every single wipe I've ever used does smell like laundry detergent
Right.
or something sterile.
And it's full of chemicals that are just so bad for your microflora and your pH down there. So that's why ours, it's actually a very unisex smell, bitter orange, and it dissipates very quickly because we don't have preservatives. We're a very clean formula. Wipe your hand with it. How does it feel?
Amazing.
It's really soft. A lot of
Very.
wipes on the market were papery or scratchy.
Oh, yes.
But this is really soft and cloth-like. And even better is it's 100% biodegradable. It's flushable. It's safe for sewers. This was really important for us.
That's very important for me too. And you can just pop this in your purse. It's
Yeah.
like tiny.
Exactly. It's discreet. It's elegant. I wanted something where you don't feel embarrassed to be seen carrying it, right? So
Mhm.
elevating the intimate wellness category.
Yes. We need something like that for tampons. Like
Yes.
why is there no tampon just kind of put in a different kind of packaging? So
Right.
you can just
That
take
looks
it.
elegant and doesn't look like neon colored or something.
Yes. We'll do a collab.
Yeah, weall do a collab.
Because I just trademarked that one.
Oh,
So
really?
you can't. No. I'm
Oh, no.
totally-
Yeah, I was like,
right
wow.
now. I'm saying right now because it's recorded. There's proof. So can you use these wipes to also just like wash your hands, like disinfect?
You know what? I've used them to take off makeup. And we also have some customers who use them underarm. We also have an intimate spray in two different sizes. We have a big one. I'll send you a full set.
Okay.
And we have pocket sprays too. And we have cleansing gel. So think of it as skincare for your vulva.
I love it. Also, I feel like you could use this on a guy's penis.
Yes. And
so you don't get a bacterial infection.
And you know what? Most vaginal infections come from men.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so like instantly you say you have a UTI. You say you have a yeast infection. You say you have your period. Like a guy, it's never his penis's fault, which your period would not be his penis.
That's not his penis fault.
That one didn't make sense, but it's because of their dirty wieners.
Yes. And our cleansing gel, a lot of our customers say because women will just put it in the shower, right? Their husbands are starting to use it, or their boyfriends are starting to use it.
Thank
and
God.
because it doesn't smell like, laundry detergent, blah, 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 spring flowers, men actually like using our product too.
I am gonna start making any guy I hook up with. I'm gonna hand this to him.
Yep.
Clean up. And he's
Perfect.
gonna be so confused. And I'll be like, you know what you need to clean right now. Sara Jane, this has been just incredible. And we have we're on the same vibe.
Yes, we are.
You can feel that energy, right?
You're seriously cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And so are you.
Thank you.
And I think that has been extremely impactful with etiquette, right? Because people seem to think it's for the uber rich and super successful, which it can be, but you were so down to earth, yet very classy and all those things.
Thank you.
So
I mean, it's important to me that etiquette is for everybody, and everybody can use etiquette in their life, right? So no matter where you're from, who you are.
So let's do a crash course right now.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
And then can you look to Sofia to see if she's paying attention? Okay, great. Okay.
Wait, should I use these little?
Cutting the tails off?
Yes. Should I use these little purse scissors?
Yeah.
No, this is everyone needs this in their bag.
Get some BTS on my phone as well.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep playing this.
I'm just gonna do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go from bird's eye view to get this?
You like? Do you get the knife?
Yes. No, I have the whole thing.
All right. Okay. Cool.
There we go. Doing it amazingly.
Oops, sorry. Yep. Oh.
They were cold, by the way, the bananas. They're like frozen.
Wow.
Yeah.
The bananas
They're
are
a little
frozen.
green.
It's okay.
I'm gonna sit on mine.
Dealt with less.
So I don't run into this problem.
I'm blown away.
It's a tough one. Okay.
Oh my gosh! Yay!
That is
It
insane.
literally is like
Oh my
surgery.
gosh!
I have a surgery. All right.
Yay! And then, can you look to Sofia? Just like
Okay, you have your
disgusted?
medical degree.